In this episode, we're going to start the process of framing the windows. But first, I wanted to share a couple Davenport Diesels my buddy Ken Rowe built. These things are amazing. I don't know how he does it. I think he sold his soul to the backyard railroad gods way back in the 80s, and he's just been building incredible equipment ever since. And he actually built my Porter locomotive. He built Butterpig back in 1985. In this next shot, you can see one of the tram cars he has. When I got Butterpig, it actually came with one of these cars, a little brown one here in the back. Being from Washington, most of his equipment is labeled Inland Empire. Actually, Butterpig was Inland Empire, and I still keep that name on her tank, Inland Empire Mining Company. It's really cool to see other people's work. It's been a big inspiration throughout my journey. It definitely helps hobbyists as myself gather new ideas. First order of business was to put a little rim around the stack. It was just a plain pipe at first, and I lucked out. This never happens. Usually you're whittling down stuff and dremeling and boring out, various things to make stuff fit. But I found a perfect little round rim that fit on top of the stack. I found it from an old bicycle light housing, so I JB welded it up, cleaned it up, put it on. Here's the beginning stages of framing up the windows. I decided to use aluminum trim. A little bit easier to cut, a little bit easier to work with. Note some of the smoke coming off from the grinder. Here are the first set of window frame pieces drying. I started by putting on 2 coats of black Rust-Oleum paint, followed by a clear coat, and then another spray down of black Rust-Oleum paint. Being aluminum, paint can be a little bit tricky to stick to. For reaching purposes, I decided to do the front left window first. I decided to use plexiglass for the quote-unquote glass. The whole body comes right off the frame pretty easily. It's a little heavy, being steel, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to show what's underneath her. Here you can see the batteries, the trickle charger, and so forth. Steve did ask me if I wanted the quiet horn or the loud horn. So I did what any other rail geek would do, and I chose the loud horn. Also noting, before I put the window frames in, I decided to paint the inside of the cab gray. I noticed on the Davenport Diesels, most cabs were painted gray and or silver. Here's a shot of the left-hand window frame as well as the plexiglass. This one's all installed. A little bit of touch-up here for paint. I'm pretty excited about doing the doors actually next. I call the Diesel Dud Diesel. The Diesel Dud Diesel. Just kind of a name that's been thrown around lately. In order of business, I decided to start on the right-hand side of the locomotive. The locomotive's stored, and I get access to the left, but not really to the right. So I made a plan of attack, try to get this done as much as possible. Then it's a lot easier for me to work on the left, being the position I store her in. I drill out the plexiglass and install the bolts before installation. That way it's a little easier inside the cab. After some paint, they're ready to install. Thanks for tuning in to part 2, and always keep dieseling.